Warren Buffett. The name is synonymous with genius. We see him as the Oracle of Omaha, a man who rarely makes a mistake. But what if I told you that in his quest for building the world's greatest empire, he made a blunder so massive that it cost him over $10 billion? Today, we are not just talking about his success. We are breaking down the biggest failure of his career, the Dexter Shoe Company. This story isn't just about losing money. It's about the psychology of business, the trap of arrogance, and the hidden power of opportunity cost. If you want to invest like a pro, you need to understand where even the pros get it wrong. Flashback to 1993. The shoe industry in America was still seen as a stable, local manufacturing business. Warren Buffett found a company called Dexter Shoe. It was located in Maine, run by an incredibly talented family, the H. Brown family. On paper, it was everything Buffett looked for: a simple business, consistent profits, and great management. He didn't just buy the company, he fell in love with it. He paid $433 million for it. But here is the critical part that most people miss. He didn't pay in cash. He paid by issuing Berkshire Hathaway stock. At that time, it felt like a fair trade. He was swapping a good business for his great stock. But in doing so, he unknowingly handed over a piece of his own company that would explode in value over the next century years. So, what went wrong? Buffett famously looks for a moat, a competitive advantage that protects a company from rivals. Dexter Shoe had a good brand, but they lacked a global moat. Almost immediately after the purchase, the shoe industry changed. Cheap imports from Asia flooded the market. Dexter Shoe's manufacturing cost in Maine couldn't compete with the global prices. Buffett, the man who analyzes every detail, missed the macroeconomic trend. He focused on the company's past history, but failed to predict the future of the entire footwear industry. The company wasn't just losing money, it was losing relevance. Within a few years, the $433 million asset became virtually worthless. Buffett later admitted, "I gave away shares of Berkshire Hathaway, which are the most valuable shares in the world, to buy a company that turned out to be a piece of junk." Now, let's talk numbers. This is where it gets painful. Buffett paid $433 million in Berkshire stock. If he had never touched that stock and just held it, that same amount would be worth over $10 billion today. This is the hidden cost of investing. Opportunity cost. When you invest in a bad deal, you're not just losing the money you spent, you are losing the growth that money could have generated elsewhere. This is the magic of compounding working against him. Instead of his capital growing at 20% a year, it was tied up in a dying shoe factory. This is a lesson for all of us. Your biggest risk isn't just a loss. It's being stuck in a mediocre asset when you could be owning a world-class one. How do we apply this? First, beware of hubris. Even Warren Buffett thought he knew better than the market. Always be humble. Second, the moat test. Ask yourself, does this company have a real competitive advantage in 20 years? If the answer is, I hope so, don't buy it. Third, cash versus stock. B, ownership shares for a company. Cash is a tool. Shares are your future. Warren Buffett didn't retire after this. He didn't hide. He owned it. He put it in his annual report, laughed at his own stupidity, and moved on. That is the mark of a true investor. you will lose money. If this video helped you think differently about your investments, it helps me create more deep dive content like this. Let's learn from each other. Thanks for watching.